Next, I'm going to create the unit test for the service layer. So before creating the unit test for the service layer, first I would like to commit the changes I have done so far, and then I will push the changes to the remote repository. I will add these files. I will give a commit message. Now I will push these changes to the remote repository. Let's go to the remote repository and check. Now we have order manager v5 branch, and we have the latest commit message. So before start creating the unit test for the service layer, I will create a new branch. I will give the branch name as order underscore manager underscore v6. Let's go to the IntelliJ, and now we have this order manager v6 branch, and it has checked out to the new branch now. Let's start unit testing the service layer. First, I'm going to the customer service microservice, and we'll start unit testing the service layer of the customer service project. Here also we have to write the unit test inside the service package, which is in the test folder. So when writing the unit test for the service layer is always depends on the repository layer. Because of that, we have to mock repository layer dependencies. To mock the repository layer dependencies, we are going to use Mockito framework. So when mocking the repository layer dependencies, we have to use a special annotation called @mock annotation. And in addition to that, there is another annotation we are going to use, that is @inject mocks annotation. This annotation is used when we want to inject a mocked object into another mocked object. For example, when we want to unit test the customer service IMPL class, so this class, in the test folder, inside the service package, we have to write a class called customer service tests, and in this class, customer service test class, we have to inject customer service IMPL, and also we have to inject customer repository. So we have to use those at mock annotation and at inject mocks annotation uh, on top of those customer repository and customer service IMPL objects. Let's start writing the unit test, and let's see how we can do that. Here I'm going to create a class in the service package of the test folder, customer service tests, and because this customer service IMPL depends on the customer repository, we have to inject the customer repository. In addition to that, because we are going to unit test the customer service IMPL class, we have to inject that as well. Also, on top of this customer service test class, we have to add a special annotation, that is at extend with, and in the parentheses we have to provide Mockito extension dot class. So the purpose of using this annotation with Mockito extension dot class is to enable the use of Mockito for writing the unit tests. And now we can add the at mock annotation on top of the customer repository, and also on top of this customer service IMPL object, we have to add at inject mocks. So when we add this at inject mocks, it will make possible to inject the customer repository into this customer service, and also it will mock this customer service IMPL as well. In addition to these two objects, we have to inject one more object, that is model mapper. So in our customer service IMPL, when we want to create a customer, we are passing a customer DTO object, and inside the create customer method, we are using the model mapper to convert the customer DTO to a customer object, and then that converted customer object is used inside the save method to save into the database, and after that it returns a saved customer object which is of type customer, and then again we are using model mapper to convert that customer object to a customer DTO object. So because of that, we have to use that model mapper dependency inside our customer service test class. And I will annotate that with at mock annotation like we did for the customer repository. So now we can use the BDD style just like before. So I'm going to use the placeholder we created, BDD underscore test, and it automatically inserted the BDD's structure into our code. And I will add a comment. First, we are going to create the unit test for the create customer operation. So this time let's use the method name as it is in our comment and also in our at display name annotation. So JUnit test for create customer method. And in this case, let's see how we can give the name for the test case. In the customer service IMPL, we are giving a customer DTO object, and then it is being saved to the database, and after saving it returns another customer DTO object, which is the saved customer. So because of that, the name should be given customer DTO object when we are going to use the create customer. So because of that, we can give the name here when create customer. That's the action or behavior we are going to test in our customer service IMPL. This is the behavior that we want to unit test. So because of that, we gave that here, create customer. Then it returns saved customer DTO object. In the customer service IMPL, after saving the customer to the database, it is returning the saved customer as a customer DTO object. So that's why we gave this then part as return saved customer DTO object. In this test class also, we can create the setup method. And we can annotate that with at before each annotation so that it will run before each and every test case. So what should we give inside the setup method? So for the precondition of this first test case, we should give a customer DTO object. And because of that, we can add that customer DTO object inside this setup method. So I'm going to create a reference for customer DTO. And I will use the builder. So to use the builder, I have to annotate our DTO class with @builder annotation from the Lombok. Now we can use builder. I will give the customer first name. Next, I will give the customer last name. I will also give customer email. And I will give the customer password also. And then we can use build. Customer DTO object was created inside our setup method. And we will have to use certain methods from Mockito. So those methods are uh, given, and we will have to use something called when, and also we will have to use another method called do return. Likewise, we have few methods that we can use from Mockito. So inside this given section, I'm going to use the method called given, and before using that I have to import that. Let's do it as a static import. So we are going to use given, and then inside this given I'm going to use customer repository dot save, because we have already uh, mocked the customer repository. So we are going to use that customer repository, and inside that customer repository we need to call this save method. And to save method we have to pass a customer object. So we have a customer DTO object, but we don't have a customer object. Because of that, we have to create a customer object here as well. So let's create a customer object. And we have already added the @builder annotation to the customer object. So we can use the builder here. Customer equals customer dot builder, and I will give the same name, John, and then I will give the same last name as our DTO object. Also the same email, and let's give the same password as well, and then build. So now we have created a custom object, and we are going to use that custom object inside this save method of the customer repository, which we have already mocked. So, and once we pass this custom object into the save method, it will save the customer to the database. Once it's saved to the database, it is going to return the saved customer object. So because of that, we are going to use will return, and we are going to return the same customer object. Actually, what we are doing here is stubbing. So we are giving a customer object, and we are using the save method, and once it is saved to the database in the repository layer, it should return the same customer object. So that's why we gave here will return customer, the same customer object that we passed into the save method. And now we know that we are using model mapper inside our customer service IMPA to convert customer objects to customer DTO and vice versa. So to reflect that behavior, we have to use another method called do return. So this do return is also in Mockito. Let's import that also as a static import. This is in Mockito, and instead of uh, using the method directly, I'm going to use it as this. So uh, then we can use all the methods inside this package. We don't have to import one by one. So I'm going to use do return, and it is going to return this customer when we are going to use when model mapper, and then map, and here to return customer, model mapper should take a customer DTO, and here we can give customer dot class. Similarly, we can write another do return. In this case, a customer DTO will return when model mapper dot map customer and customer DTO dot class. So these two lines actually specify what model mapper really do inside our customer service IMPL. So when in the create customer method, when model mapper.map is used with customer DTO, it will return a customer object. And on the other hand, when the model mapper.map used with a customer object, it will return a customer DTO object. So these two lines will specify that. So the next, we have to give the when section. In the when section, we are going to use the customer service dot create customer. We have already injected the customer service IMPL. So the customer service IMPL object is customer service. So we are going to use the create customer method of that customer service IMPL object, and to that we have to pass a customer DTO object. So we are going to pass here customer DTO, and once it is passed, it should return a customer DTO object. So I'm going to take that into this reference variable. Let's give the name as saved customer, and that's the behavior. When section, we have to give like that. In the verifying the output section, in the then section, we can again use the assert that. So to use the assert that, I'm going to do an import here. Let's do a static import. Now let's use the assert that. And we are going to use this saved customer, which was returned from the create customer method of the customer service IMPL, and we should verify that it is not null. So we have completed our first test case in the service layer. Let's run this test case and see the result. Test case has passed, and it does not show any other details. So here we can see the name that we have given here is listed.